Welcome to RFI's Banking Uncovered, the podcast going behind the industry PR, the media spin, the product awards, and the investor reports to look at what's really going on in the customer data, and to ask global thought leaders about their thoughts and views on the future of banking and payments.
Welcome to Banking Uncovered, where this episode I'm delighted to be talking to Gourab Kundu. Gourab is the head of digital for Citi Wealth based in Singapore. So before I introduce you, welcome to the show, Gourab, and thank you very much for joining us.
Awesome. It's a pleasure for me as well, Charles. Good to see you.
Gourab started his career in banking in Mumbai in India 14 years ago and has spent the last 10 years in Singapore and, most importantly, the last 5 years of that working on digital banking and digital wealth and the digital proposition at Citi. RFI's latest share of wallet data that just came out a couple of months ago shows that typically most banks in Singapore capture about 40% of their mass affluent customers' wealth. That obviously leaves another 60% out there. And interestingly, it's not going to the fintechs. It's not going to the new digital players. It's going to the smaller niche players, the local banks. So we've had 10 years now. I think kind of 2015. I always think of as the start of the fintech revolution. Probably slightly earlier actually in Singapore, but we've had 10 years of the fintech revolution now. Should we still be as concerned about them? Do you see them as competition? And if you're not competing with the fintechs, then who do you see yourself competing with locally? Who are you trying to win more share of wallet off?
Very nice, Charles. All very, very fair questions. So let me sort of break them down into pillars, if you may. Your first sort of setup of how the digital ecosystem in wealth management is evolving. The answer is rapidly. What was all of the quintessential banking providers, what they were doing 5 years back, including us, that has evolved quite extensively now with the advent of various digital tools and capabilities available. That's sort of one. The second one is the mobile revolution, or clients being very, very comfortable using their mobile app for all transactions, especially turbocharged after COVID, is a reality, which means we are increasingly seeing usage on digital platforms that has grown quite drastically. 90% plus of our wealth clients use the app regularly, which sort of means that they like and value the kind of impact that they get. The second part to your question, which is I see that as a huge opportunity for us, that clients today in the emerging affluent, mass affluent, and the affluent space, there is more room for banks like ours to grow. I'm quoting your data. You're saying 40% of that is tapped within this ecosystem, which means there is sizable amount that's outside. I see it as an opportunity to get more of these clients within the ecosystem. Banking in general, wealth management in general. And I think to get there, I'd sort of say two big things that as an organization we are doing. And I'd be better off talking about what we do. We want to sort of holistically reimagine the experience for our clients. We are completely aware that we are an important provider of wealth management in Singapore. We have been here for 100 over years, and it's a responsibility the clients put on us. To get to it, we are sort of reimagining the experiences that we give them day in and day out. Our satisfaction scores are really high, and they've sort of grown quite drastically. NPS scores, you mean? But more so on how we are providing them the experience. We're calling it the era of hybrid experiences, which means not just self-help DIY within the app that the clients go through and do themselves. We also sort of enable the entire ecosystem with the advisors who support them on day-to-day needs so that they have the digital tools available as well. So that's, in my opinion, a unique differentiator that we have to provide to our clients, which is helping us increase the share of wallet, if you may. Your third part of the question is the fintechs and the threat from fintechs. Competition have their own areas in which they work through, but here at Citi, we are really focused to deepen with our clients, give them the best experiences, and grow with them. So I see that as healthy.
Okay, fantastic. I want to come back to digital innovation and also very specifically the blend, if you like, of the human and the digital in a moment. But I just want to kind of step back and talk about the wider banking proposition. So in the last year, we've seen a significant increase in loyalty. So in 2024, I think 1 in 3 mass affluent customers were looking to switch, and according to RFI's latest data in 2025. And that's been significantly reduced to 1 in 5. Now that's a huge leap in 12 months, which is fantastic for all banks in the mass affluent space. And when we ask mass affluent consumers what are they looking for, they're looking for a fantastic customer experience, a great product range, and to work with an established provider. Now, as you just said, Citi's been in Singapore for over 100 years, so I think we can tick the established provider box. But in your role, what are some of the things that you're thinking about when you're looking at creating a relevant and exciting and innovative product range, and also an experience, an overall experience, not just digital, that will absolutely delight your mass affluent consumers?
Firstly, the data is really heartening. Thank you for sharing it. As the the entire space is quite crowded. Loyalty still counts, and it's good to see clients also valuing loyalty overall with the segment. Uh, for us at Citi, we don't take anything for granted. I touched upon satisfaction scores, and that is a bedrock in us reimagining every day how do we better our client experience across the suite. So I'll give you simple tactical things, but strategic as we move through that we have done. We felt we need to talk to our clients as one and not as any client. So we sort of created a personalization strategy where we sort of on the mobile app or on the various digital communication channels, we give them personalized offers. We sort of talk about the movement of currencies. We give them city investment house grade content and sort of views that we have about the overall global economy and the markets in general. Our idea here is to sort of empower our clients with the best information at the right place and very intuitively at that so that they can experience knowledge as it may and on their own terms. That's sort of one area that we have done. So it's a tactical, but leading it to strategic in terms of giving them sort of the power to decide. We call it power your wealth your way. The second part is the availability of the features and benefits. Um, Wealth management is very personal. What money means to you could be different from what money means to somebody else. So we completely appreciate that there is a solid advisor ecosystem that clients could tap onto within the organization. But there's also this need for them to sort of look around what's available for them and make their choices if they want to do so themselves. And therein a digital ecosystem comes into benefit. So we've sort of launched multiple features and benefits within the app, all intuitively done, so that the transactions that the clients would want to do are easier versus having to call somebody for guidance. In the last 2 years alone, we have noticed not more than 2x growth, close to 3x growth in wealth transactions done digitally from our clients. And the big reason is the intuitive products that are available and that get through. The third tactical to strategic move has been listening to our clients. 70% of all brokerage or transactions is quite popular. You refer to fintechs here in Singapore, happen for the US stock exchange here. And we sort of figured out that, hey, when a client needs to sort of trade in US dollars, they would need to first convert currency from Sing dollars to US dollars, considering majority of them have money in Sing dollars. And we felt there was a customer dissatisfaction area, a potential area of workaround. So we launched what we call auto top up, where the clients could immediately just buy the stock that is relevant for them. And at the back end, we would do the auto conversion of the currency. Now, this is, and I say tactical to strategic because
Yeah.
it solves a client pain point, but it was also very simple to think of. I can list on multiple of these initiatives that we have done, but sort of our reason is give the clients a particular more promising avenue where they could sort of come and see for themselves, experience for themselves, and be intuitive at that so that the app works for them. Extremely proud of the Citi Mobile app. It's completely reskinned. A new experience has been made available to our clients. Obviously more personalized and something that our clients are really, really valuing uh, as we move along. Just to sort of put on record, our wealth management, our NPS on the app rather, has moved northwards of 80, which means 4 in 5 clients are active promoters, if not more, for the Citi digital experience, which is quite
Oh,
heartening.
that's fantastic. Congratulations. Just talking about the app and digitization. So for years now, the number one driver of switching of all consumers, but equally with mass affluent consumers, has been a need and desire for digital innovation. It's no longer, and that's created a huge amount of investment, a huge amount of innovation in all banks, in all markets. It's no longer such a big driving, such a significant driver of switching. Other things are starting to come into play, as our data shows. Now, in your view, is that because the digital offerings from banks have become very ubiquitous? Figure, well, if this bank's offering this, if, for example, we take, the US, a little bit more unique, the US stock, but, so I'm sure my bank will offer that soon, or whatever it might be, or have digital capabilities plateaued to the point now where the gains are very, very small and marginal, and therefore the investment and drive that has come from the bank as a whole is going to drop off. How do you see kind of the continued digital innovation and the pace of it sort of playing out over the next few years as everyone kind of catches up with everyone else?
So I think your question is layered in 2 areas. One is, yes, digital capabilities are ubiquitous. They have to be.
Yeah.
Uh, the client demands that to be ubiquitous. It's less of the bank, more of the client. So absolutely fair. The second part to the question is, are we going to be innovating less? No, in fact, I would argue we're going to be needing to innovate more because the client's discerning. Your data shows that 4 in 5 clients are loyal, which means loyalty demands that you keep me enough or give me enough opportunities to be sticky. So in fact, I would argue there's more need to come and give to the clients better features and benefits. I think uh, at the heart, innovation would evolve on the digital ecosystem. So it's not about only the hard product. It's not about the next new mobile app. It's about what inside the app. How intuitive is it? How am I getting an experience that is different from my neighbor? And in this case, when wealth clients sort of talk to each other, they do share notes. How am I getting an offer when I am supposed to just take off from Changi Airport, which is quite intuitive to my experiences. It could very well be on luxury shopping versus someone else. I could think about multiple such use cases. That's where the effort and experiences are moving towards. I'd call it from communicating to these set of clients as a customer group. How about moving it to personalization to a client of one? That's the area where a lot of the effort and energy will get through. So to sort of unpack your question, being ubiquitous in policy and features is going to happen. I don't think as an industry would want it otherwise. We want to keep the client's money safe. There's immense amount of focus on fraud, security, and ensuring that we keep that vigil quite extensively on. But the experience that you offer to them in those ubiquitous products is what makes a difference, and that requires continuous sort of innovation. So the innovation
Yeah.
is still there, but more personalized.
Okay, I'll come back to cybersecurity because it's such a huge topic in a moment. But you're talking about continual digital innovation within the overall customer experience, and that sort of leads on to relationships because relationships with are a pain point, and satisfaction and service levels from RMs is the number one driver of poor NPS results in the mass affluent space. But it's a conundrum because you have that. How do you achieve that balance, which, as you say, again, is very personalized? Some people might be very happy to do all these, a number of different things digitally, and they only need to talk to an RM in certain circumstances, whereas other people, and they would be bothered and intruded on if they had to go and talk to an RM to get things that they want done, which they think they should be able to, self-serve online. Whereas other people might not be so confident, or might want to talk to an RM about those exact same things and not feel confident doing it digitally. And so when you're thinking about personalization within the context of trying to get that perfect human digital balance, what are some of the things that you can do to get the right combination of digital accessibility, but relevant and appreciated RM advice as and when required by the mass affluent customer?
Brilliant question. So we are of the view that the advisors, which is your RMs, and the digital ecosystem are solidly complementary to each other. And let me sort of expand why I say that. A client, when they perform wealth management with us, or they trust us with their wealth, they expect the best of experiences around the entire ecosystem. So it requires on the app, on the communication that they get through, on the letter that is given to their mailboxes, or in case the credit card that gets delivered to them, or for that matter, the products that the RMs advise them on. So this is holistic in nature, and we sort of respect the fact that the experience has to be top-notch holistically. Uh, I touched upon hybrid experiences a while earlier. So, and we're quite clear that the app alone cannot solve for 100% wealth management satisfaction, because you need to get the right amount of advice, the rich levels of advice from somebody who is a trained practitioner, certified practitioner, as well as somebody who cares deeply about your investment needs. That's our advisory platforms, our RMs, our sort of additional analysts that we provide as a part of the relationship management structure. All of these today in the hybrid ecosystem setup have been empowered with digital tools so that they could be omnichannel, which means whatever the RM gets as particular nudges for the clients, that's orchestrated across the channels. So we are no longer competing. We want to ensure that the RM, the non-advised channels, all of them speak the same language. That's the sort of change that we have done. I'll give you a couple of simple examples that will sort of make this more easy to understand. Recently, we launched secure chat between the RM and the clients through WhatsApp. Everything's recorded. The information is made available, but to the intuitiveness of the client, it's just a simple communication. So that's sort of one. The other one that we've sort of spent some energy on is authorization of transactions. When a high ticket transaction, the client is investing $100,000 plus, they'd want to be made comforted that, yeah, I'm overseeing your transaction is proper. We have digitized that transaction experience between the RM and the client, saving important time both for the RM and the client, but also the trust that, hey, the authorization process could be easier. We have also sort of enabled talking to the RM within the app. So the client may not need to always pick up the phone and talk to the RM and vice versa. We've enabled that within the app as a secure environment within the mobile app so that they can engage with the RM. So what I'm trying to say is look at the ecosystem overall. We see them as one big setup, and we support various initiatives within. That has provided the differentiating factor to our clients when they get a proper 360 sort of benefit or support, if you may, from the entire platform.
So you started off just then talking about clients trust you with their wealth, which brings up the topic you mentioned earlier of cybersecurity, because obviously cybersecurity fraud in every market, including Singapore, is becoming more and more of an issue. And you, as a bank, you have a conundrum that you're trying to reduce friction for the customer. But the more you reduce the friction, the more potentially you open yourself up to fraud and cybersecurity issues. But at the same time, if you completely protect the clients, then you can also create a lot of friction in the customer experience, which the customer is not necessarily happy with. So when you're trying to get, in the same way you're trying to get the balance between digital and human, when we look at the balance between enough frictionless experience that the customer is happy, but at the same time enough security that their wealth is protected, and and that they feel happy about that. How do you try and get that hybrid balance? What are you thinking about when you're trying to make it frictionless but not so frictionless it becomes risky?
Uh, it's a brilliant question. Look, the client's trust is paramount. I think that's sort of like the first bedrock of every conversation, and they're trusting us with their valued money. And for us at Digital, it's important that we stay ahead of the curve on how can we protect that, and it's sort of done in a multifold way. One, we effectively communicate to our clients, saying what are the benefits, what are the up and upcoming fraud initiatives, how to stay secure, etc. But we've also sort of invested in the customer experience. I'll give you an example where today, when you provision your credit card on Apple Pay on your wallet, we were among the first banks to move the authorization out of SMS to getting a push notification on the mobile app. Very simple, but it eliminated the need of certain frauds where wallet provisioning was happening differently. Uh, there is a fraudulent transaction on your card, you notice it on the app. We now have immediate chat on that transaction where the fraud team can talk to you within the app. These are examples of sort of embedding customer security or safety at first, but also creating positive friction moments within so that we can address them more effectively. Think of an opportunity where you're abroad, you see sort of a transaction happening. Your app is your secure bet. You know your mobile app is secure. You open the Citi mobile app and you're able to dispute a transaction there and there. Then somebody in the fraud team could chat with you there and there and then let you know, hey, this is a transaction that you did. And if you say yes, it moves on. If it doesn't, I'm simplifying it, but
Yeah.
putting in the experience at a point where we can create positive friction, not negative friction, but keeping the guardrails of safety and security are areas that we're actively working on. This is an always on work in progress. But like I said, nothing is more important than a client's trust with the bank because they're trusting us with their money.
It's interesting you mentioned, give that example of someone being abroad because, that brings up cross-border banking, which is such a hugely important part for the mass affluent consumer space. We know from our data that mass affluent consumers who do cross-border banking are 65% of them are looking to take out a new product in the next 12 months, whereas only 12% of mass affluent consumers who don't do cross-border banking are looking to take out a new product. So obviously, cross-border banking mass affluent consumers much more engaged, and they use mobile apps more, they use relationships managers more, they're just more and more of everything. So when you're thinking about things like that, about cross-border applications, both from an innovation point of view and from a risk management and fraud point of view, what are some of the things you're thinking about when you think about the cross-border mass affluent banking proposition space in general?
It's a great question. Uh, Look, for us, depending on the client segment that you are in and the geographies that you're located, we offer our offshore banking proposition to you. Uh, and the first area, we're investing in this proposition as well. The first area that we have sort of made very clear is we will ensure that we create a seamless account opening process for it. So the onboarding of the client, ensuring that we get the right client segmented, we profile them accurately, but also give them a solid onboarding experience. As opposed to people in Singapore are very used to digital straight through account opening processes. But if you're not in Singapore, we could be limited by the regulations as it may. So we are heavily investing on ensuring that the onboarding process becomes easier. We onboard the right set of clients with the right guardrails and the right kind of KYC processes so that eventually we are able to give them the best experience that they deserve. So that's the area that we're working on. Everything else, then, like you rightly noted, they are more engaged, they work with the advisors, so on and so forth, will follow after. But our focus now is to get them onboarded digitally with a solid experience.
Okay. One final question for you in your position here. So there's obviously huge amount of change in the market. We've got generative AI coming in. We've got greater digital sophistication and expectation by all consumers, especially mass affluent consumers. We've got significant increase in mass affluent wealth, both by the volume of people who are mass affluent and the value of what they have. So what do you think is, what do you think you need to be thinking about, both in order to play to win in this space, and what are some of the things that you think are the most exciting possibilities or over the next few years that you see on the horizon, where you see this space going?
It's a lovely question. And look, at Citi, we monitor AI developments quite extensively. I think the first effort that we did is embrace AI in our day-to-day working style. Over 140,000 colleagues now have Gen AI tools that they use within the firm so that they understand the power of AI in day-to-day working. So that's step number one that we've taken in. We're now working extensively with our analytics organization to breed in the capabilities of AI on various personalization activities. That's what is happening. Really excited about this space. I would only say watch out for more to come on this area.
Okay, fantastic. Gaurav, it's been absolutely fantastic talking to you. Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts and your experience and how you see things playing out in the future. And thank you very much for joining us. It's been absolutely fascinating.
It's been a pleasure as well, Charles. So awesome talking to you. Thank you so much.
Thanks very much.